What do you think this is all about? What do you think this is all about? You think this is a fucking costume? This is a way of life. This is a way of life.
Hey Ballbusters, Bates here with your friend and mine, Ray Mungus, ready to create some holiday mayhem on this episode of Way of Life Live, episode 9 coming at you. How are you today, Ray?
About the same as last week, but this week, how about you?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that every week we're gonna do the exact same pleasantries.
Yeah, I mean it was a little bit tough prying myself out of bed to come on for this, but I mean every week it kind of is. So.
Yeah, I was like in the middle of a nap, but it was like a power nap. It was like 20-minute nap, and I didn't think I was gonna be able to get up, but then I felt great.
That's why I texted you beforehand. I was like, hey, he's been a little bit quiet. I got to make sure that I'm not the only one falling asleep here.
Well, when you texted me, I was actually doing my pre-stream ritual. We won't get into that.
Just call it a ritual.
Yes. So joining us for tonight's stream is our other partner in crime over here on the Way of Life Network, Tom. How you doing tonight, Tom?
I'm doing okay. My Bruins are kicking ass. My Islanders are up. So, yeah. It's about all I can ask for. Plus, the Devils are up on Detroit.
Yes,
so,
I was about to ask you if you knew that score. I forgot they were playing the Red Wings tonight. They're on like a 3 or 4 game win streak and top of their division right now. So, yeah, I'm happy because I don't have anything happy to be about from the football front. So I gotta fall back onto hockey right now. Hockey happiness.
Man, same here, man. You're talking to 3 people whose teams are based and whose teams basically suck ass. For lack of a better term.
Yeah, for the most part. All right, guys. So tonight we're doing things a little bit differently. We are going to get into the little bit of news that we have for you this week, horror related. We're gonna jump into a bit more Star Wars talk now that Mungus has finally seen the movie. And then we're going to do a bit of an interactive session and just kind of talk about how our holidays were, and nothing too crazy, but if anybody is in chat, they are more than welcome to join us tonight in that part of the show. We're hoping to make this one a short episode, but we say that a lot, so we'll see what happens. So to kind of start off tonight's episode, we just kind of want to bring attention and light to something. The Way of Life Network is 4 of us. It's myself, Ray Mungus, Tom, and our other friend, Leather Rebel. Now, there is an unsung, unspoken 5th person of this group. He's kind of the inspiration of this group. And we felt that it was, kind of time just to give him his dues and give him his shout-outs on the anniversary of his passing. And that would be our friend Chris. And Way of Life, that quote from that movie, that was Chris to a fucking T, man. Like, he lived for metal, beer, and horror, and that's what we're doing over here with this channel. Obviously, that content is not fully up yet, but the podcast is a taste of what we're trying to do in his honor. And that was that was his fucking life, man. Metal, beer, horror. That's all that guy needed to be happy. And as I said, on the anniversary of his passing, we want to just let everybody know that this channel, what we're doing here, everything that's coming, everything that we've done, everything that we're bringing to you in the future is really, he's the inspiration behind all of it. And it's we just want everybody to know what we're trying to do here and why we're trying to do it. You got anything to add in, Ray?
Yeah, definitely. for one, he was kind of the glue that took all of us and kept us, interacting with one another. And we would always gather over at my buddy's house. We called it his basement, the dungeon. We'd gather over there, and it was always he would be the type of person that would just help gather everybody there, or he would be there regardless of rain, sleet, snow, or what have you. And he kept our interest in movies alive. He kept our interest in music. Like, there was always a new type of thing for him to share with us. And I think like through the years, I know for a fact through the years he's turned me on to some of the best quality movies, best quality music, and things like that. And it wasn't until his brother Tom brought us back together in a Telegram chat that we started to realize, fuck, we had some good times back in the day. Why don't we do this now? And one thing that we've always joked about over the years is why, all the crazy shit that we talk about and the crazy shit that we do and all that stuff, why aren't we making something of it? Why aren't we recording it or turning it into a television show or anything for that matter? And that was a question that Chris always posed to us. So it wasn't until Tom brought us all together in a group chat with one another that we started to realize we still have that same spark when we're around each other, and it only proves to be true tenfold when we are actually next to each other bullshitting. So it was both both Chris and Tom that really made this whole thing start, and Chris's memory is essentially going to be the thing that keeps us going. So it's just one of those things that we want to basically talk about, or at least mention tonight and on the anniversary. We're a day later, but in any case, we definitely want to give credit where credit is due to the individuals that helped push us into finally getting off our asses and doing something. Tom?
Yeah, I remember. I remember finding him. Just laid out in the kitchen. I thought, well, you gotta remember one thing about Chris. I mean, if you never met him, I mean, metal, beer, and horror were the three tenets of his life. Those were the pillars upon which it was built, and the pillars upon which, unfortunately, it crumbled. But I just remember, seeing him on the ground. I thought he had because he had seizures. He would have seizures. He would blank out, and it kind of made the last year and a half to 2 years of his life to some degree a living hell. But I just remember finding him on the ground on the 26th of December, the day after Christmas, and 2013, by the way. So it's been 4 years since since he's been around, and it's just, I remember going to work, and I remember coming home about 2 o'clock that day. I left for work about 5:45. Got home about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. My mom asked something about her computer, and honestly, I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I really don't know dick about this type of stuff. Same thing with the horror. That's why I'm really not on this that's why I'm not really on at least the horror chat side of this too often, because honestly, to tell you the truth, I'm just, I just don't know too much about it, and it doesn't move me. So, but to get back to it, I found him, and called 911, and he was gone. He'd been gone for hours. He probably, he went overnight. He had a massive heart attack. He died at the age of 36, and it's I'll share a couple memories, memories at least of this Christmas later on, because it's just me and my mom, and it's just, this is just another year for the tears to flow, pretty much. But he again, the metal, beer, and horror were the three tenets of his life, two of which I agreed with. I'll be honest with you, I'm not a horror guy by any stretch of the imagination. Matt and Ray can tell you that. right off the bat that it just doesn't move me all that much. At least it doesn't move me as much as it moves them. And it's just it's kind of tough. It's tough going. It's tough going. But we're doing we did the we're doing this type of stuff to basically keep the flame lit until each one of us goes. And that's pretty much all I have to say about it, man. Anyone want to pick up on this or
yeah. I just love the fact that like in this terrible, difficult situation that we've had to deal with in the last 4 years, that in a way it's tightened our bond together. Like just all of us, we all experienced that simultaneously, and it slammed into us it slammed into each of us differently. And obviously Tom got the brunt of it. But in any case, I mean, it's not a competition or anything. But the point is we experienced his life, we experienced his passing, and we are now living through the aftermath of it. And we're doing our best to make something of it. Make something of the memory, make something of the memories that we shared over the years. So I'm glad that in light of this, situation, that's people generally just like tuck away and pack away because they don't want to, confront it. We're doing something with it, and it's from my perspective, and having known Chris for probably like I don't even know, definitely over a decade. I know that, but
I'd say about close to 15 years. I'd say at least around 15 years. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like knowing him, like he would tell us he would probably be pissed off right now for this like eulogy of sorts. He'd be like, shut the fuck up and get on with the horror news. But he would be happy that we're doing something like this. Just even if it's just something that brought us together, and not harping on him every week, but like we're doing something in his honor. I think he'd be happy about that.
Yeah, I think he definitely would. But you know what? Something cool that I've always thought about since his passing is some of the best times we've had since then. Some of the best laughs and biggest smiles we've had since then is any time we're talking about stories involving him. Like I mean, anytime somebody brings up the Lou Ferrigno story or.
Dr. Johnny Fever.
Yeah, Dr. Johnny Fever. Anytime somebody brings up any of these stories, man, we're all just rolling. And a bunch of these stories have happened at conventions and stuff, and events and gatherings, and we'll get into them when we do that episode. But I mean, it's like we can't reminisce about anything without bringing up something he said or something he did or someone he pissed off. Because I call everybody here who's listening to us. I call you guys the BALLBUSTERS. But at the end of the day, there was the head lead and true BALLBUSTER, and that was Chris. And no one's ever gonna top him in that front. So you know what? This wasn't supposed to be a all gushy kind of shit like that, because that's just not his style. It's not our style. He's our brother. We love him, and we're gonna keep doing this. And occasionally we are gonna talk about him because he deserves it. We've shared some amazing fun times, and it's just the way it is. But at least you guys now know kind of the story behind this, behind the channel, and what Way of Life is really about over here. So if any of you guys out there listening right now, you have a drink, go ahead, just raise it up for him. And before we get on to the rest of the episode, just cheers to Chris. Thank you, man. We love you. We miss you. And we'll keep doing whatever the fuck we're doing here. And maybe you like it, maybe you don't. I really don't fucking care. But we're still doing it for you, brother. So cheers.
Cheers, man.
Yeah, amen, man, amen. Yeah, that's all I can say. It's again, all I can say, man. Yeah.
I do look forward to finally getting to watch Guardians of the Galaxy with him because he's not getting out of it that easy.
We'll again.
I mean, if there's an afterlife, that's the first thing out of my mouth the minute I see him.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I'm saying is it got a sequel, motherfucker.
Oh my god.
We'll get into all that on another episode. That's a great fucking story. All right, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of tonight's episode. So,
I mean, like slice of steak and a couple peas.
yeah, there's not a whole lot of meat and maybe like a French fry.
This is kind of like the beggar's banquet of the episode so far. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I struggle to look for news, and I'm just like, somebody said like this one sentence. Is that news?
Yeah, so news the last week has been pretty rough, but at least on our side of the, on our coast, in our area over here, we got some cool news again regarding Monster Mania. Whenever we talk about a convention, everybody, you got to remember we're talking normally about Monster Mania. Yeah, maybe during the spring and during maybe the Halloween time, we might bring up Chiller Theater. Maybe we'll talk about Chiller Theater a bit more. Maybe we'll do some coverage on Chiller Theater if it's fucking really worth it. Chiller Theater, in my opinion, sucks as a convention now. It used to be the top convention. Now it's one of the worst. It's overly expensive. It's poorly run. And it's shit. So whenever we're talking about a convention, we're talking about fucking Monster Mania. So in Monster Mania news, Dave had announced, I believe on Thursday, another in-costume photo op for the fans. And this is a really cool one. Nobody guessed it. No one was expecting it. And that guess would be Sid Haig in Captain Spaulding costume.
We were really far from the mark last week. Like we speculated about pretty much any movie monster under the sun, with the exception of Sid Haig. Like I would have never guessed that he put on the clown outfit and the face paint and do this. And it didn't even come like even close to crossing my mind. I fully expected probably a Jason, maybe a Hellraiser, or, like something along those lines, but they surprised us and got us somebody from House of Thousand Corpses / Devil's Rejects, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, Sid is always a fan favorite of the conventions. He always has massive lines. He's getting up there in age, and he's not as talkative as he used to be. But I mean, he'll still chew your ear off for a couple minutes when you go up there to get an autograph from him. He's still really nice. He'll bust your balls.
Still a pisser.
Yeah,
still a ball buster and then some.
Yeah, he'll bust your balls if you give him the fuel, man. Trust me on that. Especially if he's sitting next to Bill Moseley, who hasn't been announced. But I wouldn't be surprised if Dave got Bill back on board and possibly we got an Otis costume photo op.
I would really like that, but I would hope that he would do Devil's Rejects Otis. I mean, not to put down the House of a Thousand Corpses Otis, but I don't know. Devil's Rejects just has such a special place in my heart.
Yes, yeah. We should do a special like off podcast episode just really discussing that movie, because that's both of our favorite movies of all time.
I think I penciled it in for one of our Dead Entertainment live streams. So,
that's even better.
Like, let's zero in on that and try to get that planned as soon as possible. Yeah,
definitely. But I really want to talk to the guys who currently what's the name of that DVD company?
Scream Factory.
Is that who has I Drink Your Blood right now?
Oh, that's Grindhouse Releasing.
Grindhouse Releasing, yeah. I'd really like to talk to them if they have the rights right now for the movie, to see if they would, give us the okay to actually broadcast the movie and do a live stream.
I think it wouldn't be too bad as long as one of us were to contact them. Our ad monetization stuff on the Dead Entertainment channel is a little wonky right now, so we wouldn't be monetizing the movie. So I think that might be a little incentive for them to let us to do it.
Yeah, and it'd be a lot of good exposure for them. For the the
Let's
five people.
let's be honest. Let's be honest. It's going to be good exposure for us. But as huge fans of the movie, like how could you go wrong? I mean, I've busted the Chalice guys for years about I Drink Your Blood, and then for years again about Mafia
Massacre Mafia style, yeah.
And then Gone with the Pope. Like I swear, they probably have like a do not answer list when it comes to me.
Well, what is the one movie we're lobbying for the longest time?
From them?
Yeah, come on.
An American Hippie in Israel.
Yep.
And we got it. We got it. It's the weirdest fucking movie we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And another movie that we said we wish Chris were there to watch because holy shit.
No, he was with us.
No, he did. That came out after the fact.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm pretty sure he was. We watched it in my living room upstairs.
Yeah, it was me and you. I'm going to look at the release date. You talk.
Oh, I could have swore he was with us on that one. So anyway, we have Sid joining us as Captain Spaulding for an in-costume photo op that is, I mean, again, for the fans, that's so awesome. Sid is a great fan pleaser. He always draws a big crowd, big lines. He's got a good relationship with Dave, the guy who runs Monster Mania, and it's a little it makes me feel good because Sid was at one of the last cons, and he was just getting back onto the con circuit because he was having some health issues. So seeing him back on the con circuit was pretty good, but now seeing that he wants to do an in costume and do all these photo ops, I think is a really good sign that his health is improving. So that's something that really makes me feel good. So yeah, it's very possible that we do get Bill Moseley in Odu's costume to join him. I think Dave is trying to do something really, really special with this convention in terms of these in-costume photo ops. So I would not be surprised in the least if this was not the last guest he announces that's going to do one of these photo ops.
I think it's interesting that this is the March convention and not the August one. August one, like they usually start March out with a bang. They always have impressive guests, very unique photo ops and all sorts of stuff. But August usually is where they bring the heat because it's the summer convention. It's the one that they want everybody and their mother to go to. But like if this convention in March is this good already, I can only imagine how August is going to look.
Oh, I hope August sucks because I'm not going to be able to make that one. So,
well, I'm going to have to go and I'm going to have you there with me in spirit because if it's really good, we have a site now, man. We got to report the news.
I know, unless I were to go down like Thursday and then come home Saturday night. That's the only way I'd be able to do it because I would not be able to stay until Sunday.
We haven't done a Thursday in a long time, so like maybe we should consider that.
Yeah.
By the way, the release date's February 10, 2015.
Wow, is it really?
Yes, sir.
Must have been something else because I remember we were up there. Well, at least me and him were up there. Oh, you know what? I remember we were trying to watch Sallow one day.
Oh God! I have that movie and I haven't watched it.
Yeah, we were trying to watch it. He had a copy of it, and the copy just kept freezing. But yeah, so the movie we were talking about, American Hippie in Israel, has nothing to do with anything in the title. Just if you ever come across this movie, ever get a chance to see it? See it, I guess. I don't know what else to really say.
Watch the trailer.
You sound confused. You sound confused about this thing. I mean, is it a horror? Is it a comedy? Is it a mix?
I don't know what you would call it. If I had to describe this movie in a very short phrase, I would probably be wonderful feeling.
Wonderful feeling.
Yes, wonderful feeling.
The plot summary says, incited by disillusioned young man who has decided to flee from civilization, a group of 4 people go searching for freedom and happiness on an isolated island. When their boat goes astray and they are left without food, their animal instincts take over, bringing the film to a catastrophic end. That doesn't say anything about the flying cars and the weird cop people chasing them all movie. But that's besides the point.
Or the shark.
I guess this is one of those things you'd have to see for yourself to really understand or grasp it. Because, I'll be honest with you, it sounds like the most retarded piece of shit that anybody would ever, torture their eyes to watch.
We originally found out about it via one of these. I think it was actually I Drink Your Blood's DVD.
Yep, the trailers on them. Yep.
The special feature had a trailer section, and it had like the most wonky, crazy trailer. It was really bizarre, and you didn't know what to expect of it. But nobody could find a copy of this movie until it was finally put out on Blu-ray, and if the trailer wasn't weird and bizarre enough, the movie was, and it just kind of left you speechless by the end of it, and you didn't know whether it was good or bad, or you wanted your time back, or you wanted to watch it again. It was really a mindfuck.
Listen, the last thing I'm going to say about this movie is, if you're going to sit down and you're going to watch it, and you go 20 minutes into it, you have to finish the movie. And you have to watch it until the very end. Until the credits start rolling, you will thank me. Or you're going to hate me. But you don't want to miss this ending.
I think you and I sat in your living room, just without saying anything, for a good solid 2 minutes before we were just like, what the fuck was that?
It's definitely going to be the best ending you have ever seen in a movie. Ever. And all movies should end this way, just because you'll be laughing and enjoying it so much you won't care what the fuck you just saw. So yes, just watch it to the end of the movie if you ever come across this movie. I don't think most people will. It is not an easy movie to find. So
definitely worth. I mean, if you're into grindhouse exploitation type movies and those weird, bizarre 70s movies, it's definitely worth checking out at least once.
Yeah, it's the same thing with movies like Gone with the Pope and Mafia Massacre Style, and any type of 70s exploitation flicks. Very similar to all the 70s cannibal movies and. It's nowhere near as bloody and gory as those movies. I wouldn't even really call it horror, but it is exploitation. So I enjoyed it. I wouldn't even mind watching it again, because it's been a couple years since I last saw it, and it's just fucking. It's so weird. But the whoever wrote that script, I want to meet him and shake his hand. The dialogue in that movie is so stupid and awkward that it just works.
I don't know. I don't know. A movie with just the title of Gone with the Pope. That sounds like that could be either wacky ass comedy or some type of comedic thing. Yeah.
Gone with the Pope is actually a loose sequel to Massacre Mafia Style. If you see the trailer for Massacre Mafia Style, you're gonna laugh your ass off. It's the most comedic mafia movie trailer you'll ever see. And then I think the director Duke Mitchell, if I recall correctly, he had another movie called Gone with the Pope that was basically thought to be lost, thought to be incomplete, and then his kids had found it in his storage, and Grindhouse Releasing put it back together, edited the movie together, and all that, and it follows along the lines of the whole mafia exploitation type movies, with the exception.
Well, let me ask you a question. Would I have to see Mafia Massacre Style to understand Gone with the Pope? Or,
no, I don't think so. No,
nope, not at all.
This was more along the lines of tackling a different sort of subject with a similar vibe.
Oh, okay.
But the thing about Massacre Mafia style is that, like, it's a very crazy, hilarious trailer. But when you sit down and watch it, you're just like, it's very like cheaply made and all that. But it's a really good story. It's like one of my buddies, Mike, who's like this huge mafia connoisseur when it comes to movies. He's seen this movie and he was like, hey, they actually did everything to the T. Like, this is a really good mafia movie for what it is. You know, like, he was shocked that, like,
It's got, like, no production value to it or something like that.
Yeah, like they
really
just...
cheaply made, bad sound effects, plastic-looking guns, that type of deal.
Yeah, for sure. And you could tell that they just made it on the shoestring budget back in the 70s. And, it was more of a passion project, but they had a good enough script to really keep it afloat throughout. And it's actually a really impressive movie.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of those exploitation flicks from the 70s, a good amount of them will kind of catch you off guard. And you'll be like, well, this is actually a very well done movie. Others are just batshit fucking crazy, but that was the whole point of them. If those are your types of flicks, I would say, yeah, find American Hippie in Israel. You definitely won't be disappointed.
See, I want to go back in this episode and listen to it and track how we got from Sid Haig to an American Hippie in Israel. Like, that'd be something worth mapping out.
If we start to try to figure it out, it all begins to unravel.
Yeah, it's like dividing by zero. The world's going to start imploding on itself, and
yep. So moving on. So that was the only guest announcement we have gotten this week. We probably won't get another guest announcement for another week or two. But I mean, Dave has just been rolling them out, so who knows? We're not even into January yet. This convention is still over 2 months away, and usually by this time we might have one guest, and right now we have like half a lineup already.
And he announced a few for August, if I recall.
I don't think so. Did he?
I think so. I'm looking.
I definitely don't remember that. Maybe he did. Chandler Riggs. That's it. That's the only one. Chandler Riggs, the kid from Walking Dead. He's been to a bunch of conventions. He's dead now, so... yeah, I'm not a Walking Dead fan, so whenever they're...
I love that you take and like skirt across Star Wars like spoilers and everything else, and then you're like, Chandler Riggs, yeah, he's dead.
Yeah, well, that's a TV show, and if you're
good, I'm still blown away that for somebody who's such a huge Romero zombie fan, like how you never got into the show, it like blows my mind.
It's like storylines in that show. I mean, everyone's got like this huge backstory and shit. It's too much. It's too much exposition for its own good. I mean, if it was 45 minutes of nonstop zombie killing, I mean, I'm sure you'd have people bitch about that too. But
the funny that you mention it, when this show it started in the beginning, it was very heavily story based. So a lot of people were getting, oh, this episode's boring, it's taking way too long to get anywhere, and blah blah blah. Then in like later seasons, they decided that, okay, well, let's just have like this big zombie massacre to the tune of Benny Hill, and they're gonna take out every dead zombie in the Atlanta area, and then that was too much. People complained about that, myself included, because I prefer story over it. And like they just can't find that balance, it seems. That's the biggest the problem the show has.
Yeah, what about the other show, Fear the Walking Dead? Have you seen that one, Ray?
I have. I'm behind a season on it, and it's frustrating. It has the same sort of like annoyances that the main Walking Dead show has, and it's like it. I like the fact that they started a clean slate where they didn't have to like be beholden to any sort of comic book lore. That was interesting to me, but then they basically stumbled on the same type of things that were stumbled on in the first Walking Dead series. Like they're not learning anything from it and making the same mistakes.
Yeah, so it's basically just a sequel of the show. Same problems, same same good parts, same bad parts. I guess.
Yeah, for the most part, like I believe it's a prequel. It starts at the start of everything, but they started out very slowly. They had a good pace going, and I was like, good. It's going to be good. It's going to be a decent amount of time before they get to mastering killing zombies. And then by like mid-season of season 1, you couldn't tell that group of survivors apart from the one on the main show because everybody was zombie expert killers with the same attitudes and the same sort of character arcs and shit.
Yeah, I mean, it does kind of sound like the Han Solo theory in the sense that if everyone's Han Solo, nobody's Han Solo,
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. I mean, I watched like the first 2 episodes. I might have even watched the 3rd episode, and I just couldn't get into it. I didn't like the characters. I didn't like the story. I just wasn't a fan with it. I tried it. I don't hate it, but it just wasn't something that sucked me in immediately. Like when I watched Bates Motel. I mean, I was immediately sucked into that show.
Yeah, that was really well done. I had a few problems with it because I'm a huge Psycho fan. Psycho is probably it's tied on my favorite horror movie of all time. So like I was very judgmental about it. Mostly the modernization of it in the very beginning, but the minute I stopped caring about who Norman Bates was texting and shit like that, I started to appreciate what was below, beneath it. But where it really caught me is when he started to show signs of being a mother. That really latched me on.
Yeah, it got real creepy real quick when that started happening, and I mean the cast in that show was so brilliant.
I agree. Freddie Highmore was fantastic. Norman Bates. I mean, the only thing that I could judge him on is when he got emotional on the show, his accent would break through a little bit, so that would drive me a little crazy. But otherwise, the cast was great. Vera Farmiga, I think that's how you say her name. She was amazing as Mother. You couldn't ask for better.
Nope, definitely not. I was very impressed.
Did you finish the show?
No, I still haven't found the final season.
Oh man, you need to get on that. I was about to spoil something, but now I'm not.
Yeah, no, I have not. I've not read anything about the final season except that it was really good, and I've been waiting for it because when it was airing, I didn't have A&E or whatever channel it was on. I forget. I think it was A&E, right?
I think it was
A&E.
I didn't have A&E. I was only watching it when it came over to Netflix, and I don't know if that final season ever came over to Netflix. I should really check.
I'm bringing up Netflix now. Even if it doesn't, like it's definitely worth purchasing. I know you like the show a lot. Maybe you'll find a deal on the complete series.
I don't buy DVDs or Blu-rays. It's not something I do anymore.
Yeah, I slowed down significantly.
Well, the show's still there.
Way of Life Live, where we check Netflix.
Yes. Deal with it.
That's gonna be a new segment on the show. We're gonna just awkwardly check to see if shows are on Netflix.
What was the last season?
I think it only went 5 seasons, if I recall.
Alright, so then... Yep, then they're still only on season 4. They do not have the 5th season.
Wow, they're dropping the ball. Oh, our buddy Chris has arrived on chat. Hey, Chris, what's up?
Hey. Alright, so let's continue on with the news. So Neca, or Neca, or however you want to pronounce them.
I say Neca, you say Neca.
has teased us with some of their upcoming releases for 2018. Now, for anyone who's not familiar, NECA used to be the top of the toy chain for collectors, especially horror collectors. Back in the
used to.
Yes.
They're not as king as they were, but they with the retro lines they put out recently, they're killing it still.
But when I'm talking about what I'm talking about, we're going back to the mid 2000s. I'm talking about quality and detail. Now,
okay.
So back in the mid 2000s, NECA, the only competition they had were Sideshow, and believe it or not, Sideshow was garbage. They were absolute dog shit back in the mid 2000s. NECA was putting out fucking quality stuff. Now, I sold most of my NECA stuff when I moved into my new house because I needed some extra money. So I did sell some of my classic NECA stuff. I think I have one or two pieces still that actually the boxes got water damaged. So they're actually going to be out of the boxes and on display once I get back into the house.
Do you still have your Part 7 statue?
Yes, it's actually right in front of me. The mask broke on it, but I do have, and I have the machete somewhere. I don't remember where, but I do have the Part 7 bust right in front of me. It's on my computer desk right here.
Nice.
Yeah, holding it up to the camera.
That's one thing that I've been itching to track down again. Once I get a little extra money, I think I'm going to try to get one. So it's one of my favorite pieces.
Yeah, that one, and they had a Freddy one too that came out around the same time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So NECA has teased us with some of their 2018 releases, which includes a Pennywise from the new It movie, a Herbert West figure to add into the retro line from Reanimator, a Friday the 13th Part 2 Ultimate Jason Voorhees. Now, we just got a Part 3 Ultimate from them?
Part 3 just came out, and then they started to tease weapons. They started to show that they're going to be releasing weapon packs. So people started to think that, we're just going to get weapon packs, but apparently we're going to be getting a Ultimate Part 2 to go along with the ones that they've been releasing. I think we got Part 3, and then before that it was Part 6, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, the Part 6 had an Ultimate Edition. So we're getting a Part 2 Ultimate Edition. That's pretty cool. Some of the new aliens and a Predator Bone Throne diorama. So if you're collectors out there, I would definitely put some money aside. Some of this stuff is going to be real good. I haven't bought a horror figure in a very long time. A lot of my collectible money goes into high quality Marvel lithographs and Marvel figures now.
Yeah, I've kind of hit the brakes a little bit myself on the figures, simply because they were only putting out the retro lines, and I like the Mego style retro horror figures, but not as much as the very detailed action figures, the ones that you could kind of pose and kind of put on display. The Mego ones are a little bit of a pain in the ass to display, in my opinion, and they don't look as good.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely agree, man. And I had a decent horror figure collection. Back before I moved into the house, I had to sell a lot of them. I still have a few pieces, not many. Obviously, I have my Part 3 mask and my Part 4 flesh hood that I absolutely love. I nearly sold them. I actually had them sold, but then I backed out of the deal because I could not part with them. I've had them for so long. And
who backed out of the deal? I think you still owe me for that one.
You made it work.
I did. That guy's probably still disappointed about that.
Yeah, well, not as disappointed as I would have been if I actually went through with them and sold them.
Yeah, that's why I was trying to come up with the extra money to at least take the hockey mask off your hands, because like I know you would have kicked yourself in the ass if you got let that one go.
Yeah, well, it was. I mean, the hockey mask itself was. It's the only memory and only thing I have for my first and only meeting with Richard Brooker. So, that's a piece of horror history for me right there. And getting rid of it is just, it was something I contemplated with, and I'm glad I didn't. And the part 4 mask actually is a really cool story. That mask I bought at Monster Mania. I believe it was actually my first Monster Mania. I decided to go with a wallet full of hundreds. And it's funny. Ray will tell you that at almost every Monster Mania, I come with a good amount of cash, and I say I'm going to buy one big thing. And I always have a big purchase. I've had many big purchases over the years. That was my first big purchase. And the story behind that is our friends over at Fright Rags had a couple of masks that they were going to sell for Justin, the guy who made the masks over at Night Owl Productions. But Justin wasn't there. So it was actually Ben from Fright Rags who was selling these masks for him. And that's actually how I met Ben from Fright Rags and the guys from Fright Rags, and how I got into their shirts. And it's funny because I'm actually wearing the first Fright Rags shirt that I ever bought, like 10 plus years ago at this point.
Children shouldn't play with dead things?
That's it.
Bingo.
It's older than any Fright Rags shirt you have, actually, and he has way more Fright Rags shirts than I do.
I just made a list of them today, but I haven't counted them, and I'm telling you, like, at least 3/4 of my closet is Fright Rags t-shirts. I don't even want to calculate how much money I put into that company.
Yeah, so he has more Fright Rags shirts than I do, but this is an OG shirt. I think this was part of their, like the second wave of their first releases, this shirt. So it's one of their oldest.
Yeah, I don't have an impressive one like that. I think the oldest one that I would have is probably their original Thing shirt. But that one was sold for so long that it doesn't really matter. It doesn't give me any street cred.
Yeah. It's funny. We went to that contest they had at that one Monster Mania to see who had the oldest shirt, and I lost by like one person. One person had a shirt that like wasn't even like available on their website. Was it a
Pet Cemetery or something like that?
I don't remember. It was a shirt I don't even remember seeing on their website ever.
Oh yeah, I remember our idea for that particular day. We were going to try to dress ourselves in as many Fright Rags t-shirts as possible.
We were going to layer ourselves.
Just to be like, okay, is this one it? Okay, is this one it? And just like have like when I opened my closet and realized I had like 30 Fright Rags t-shirts at the time, it was like it was becoming like a very daunting task, and we decided against it.
Yeah, that sounds like some type of cheesy comedy stuff that somebody would see on a sitcom, like, oh, well, maybe this is the shirt. Oh, no? Well, maybe this is the shirt.
Exactly. That or some cheesy 80s movie or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Something terrible. God almighty.
Yeah, all of our ideas aren't always the best.
Well, nobody's ideas are always the best. I mean, Jesus Christ, I can't even begin to tell you the stupid-ass ideas I've come up with. I just never followed through on them.
That's true. I'm kind of glad that Matt talked us out of it.
Yeah, well, wasn't that a rainy night too? Weren't we walking across the highway?
Yeah, it was like pouring, and we had to go down the highway, find out how to frogger across the highway in order to get to some random ass pizza place.
And we're the kind of guys who will walk around at pitch black in the rain in black shirts, so you can't see us with no umbrellas, because we're just too cool for umbrellas.
Way too cool.
Yeah. So that was a fun night.
I actually have a picture of us that night. I think Christy took it. It's me and you sitting at one of the booths, and we both just look miserable.
Yeah, because we lost. We didn't win anything.
Well, that in the rain. At least we got pizza out of it.
Yeah, and I think we got like little like goodie bags.
We got a goodie bag.
A
Hellraiser print.
Yeah, that's what I remember. So yeah, that was actually my first introduction, buying that mask to Night Owl, to Fight Rags rather, and I'm actually thinking about at the next convention, possibly interviewing. I'm going to talk to Ben if I get a chance to interview him for the next vendor spotlight over on deadentertainment.com.
That would be awesome. I'd get behind that 100%.
You know, they're good guys. We've been supporters. We've been supporting them since almost their inception, really.
Yeah, I was about to bring up the fact that when you bought that mask, it was probably one of those like single table humble displays. You know, they probably had their original like 6 T-shirt designs. You know, I remember the very first times that I seen their table set up. You know, they're not nearly the empire. They were not nearly the empire they are of, you know, horror T-shirts that they are today.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is awesome.
But it's funny that they're still in the exact same spot after all these years.
Some things never change.
I guess not. Well, I mean, though, that wife and husband DVD bootleg duo are still in the same spot.
Yeah, they are. And Egon jumps around once in a while. The guy that I never buy from because he's too fucking expensive.
Yeah, that guy's a douche. And yeah, so I a lot of these regular vendors at the convention, they have their spots where they are always set up. So you know exactly where to go once you hit the vendor room. You know where you want to go. I want to go see what Joel's got, and you know exactly where Joel is. You know.
Yeah, it's almost like a dog, you know, marking his territory in the house.
Oh my god, it really is.
For sure, and for collectors like us who just have money burning our, you know, holes in our wallets, we like line up at the gate for them to unleash us, and we know exactly the spots we're gonna hit first, just one after another, and then like before the convention is even really underway, we have most of our shopping already done.
Yeah, pretty much. So I don't even know how I got onto all this. So, but yes, so the new NECA lineup has been teased. I'm sure they got a couple more that they are going to announce soon. But there are some good figures coming up for any collectors. I mean, NECA is always a great way to go. They've been putting out quality stuff for many years. So keep an eye on that.
Anybody that's going to make a Herbert West action figure is okay in my book. So, you know, it's a good time to be a collector as far as I'm concerned, especially in the horror genre.
They should also throw in the recipe to make that reanimator fluid, you know, the stuff that looks like lemon lime Gatorade.
Right? I would like to just know how to make it just so I could have like a replica of it on my shelf.
I just want to, you know, I would do that if I can make it like glow in the dark. Yeah. Just have this big vat of glowing liquid. You know, use that as like a lantern or something like that. That would just be.
That would be fantastic. You could probably do something like that with like kind of an LED, one of those like green LEDs in the bottom of the jar, and just fill it up with liquid. You know, like encase the LED so it doesn't get.
Yeah, exactly. In case it's that way, it doesn't get waterlogged or anything like that.
Exactly, and LEDs last a lifetime. So like. You can pretty much put a small switch on the back of it, and there's your little reanimator juice lamp.
So that
no, I just keep making the fluid, putting it in a picture, and just walking around with it. Yeah, yeah, because you know, I mean, let's put it this: I don't want to turn on the lights at 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm stumbling to the bathroom. Yeah, I don't want to do that. You know, just grab the reanimator fluid; it's right by the bed.
Exactly, and not all of us are like rich enough to afford a high quality Yankee candle, you know. So like, you just grab the reanimator jar and it just lights your way.
Yeah, exactly. You know, if you're a horror fan, you know, take that as, you know, do what you can with it. You know, make your own reanimator juice in the jug.
Had to bring up Yankee Candle, didn't you?
One last plug. That's the last one they get. Until I get a check in the mail, that's the last we're talking about them.
Why the hell are you guys talking about Yankee Candle? I mean, geez, would they come out with a fucking rotting flesh scented candle or some shit?
That's what we're trying to get. Unfortunately, they haven't heard our call.
God Almighty, that's just ridiculous, man.
We had a Krampus live commentary we did on the Dead Entertainment YouTube channel, and me, Matt, and my buddy Chris just had a running joke about candles, and that turned into a very, very beaten to death running joke about Yankee Candle ads. Like we were making it seem like we were sponsored by Yankee Candle the entire episode. So I had to bring it up just to get Matt going a little bit.
Yeah, I guess we're not being sponsored by Yankee Candle on this one. Good going, you screws.
It was like that scene from Wayne's World where they're like trying to say that they're not sellouts. Yeah. It's like people only do stuff because they're getting paid for it, you know?
Meanwhile Mike Myers holding up a big slice of pizza from Pizza Hut.
Exactly. We did that for like almost the entirety of the movie during the commentary. We promoted Yankee Candle and DHL, the Krampus's delivery service.
Yes. Or when Garth was all decked out in the Reebok gear. Like, people only do stuff because they're getting paid for it, you know?
Yeah. You know, Wayne, I wouldn't do this if I wasn't getting paid by these people to do it.
All right, you kind of went a little more Ringo on that Garth.
It was close.
I'll try this, man. It's, you know, it was close enough, you know.
It was like Ringo and Bob Dylan.
Well, you know, let's put it this. I'm not exactly 100% with my impersonations. I am human after all, you know.
Yeah, man. Not all of us could be like creators of Yankee Candle, you know.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and creating scents like, you know, pumpkin pie and, you know, dick cheese, you know, all sorts of terrible things brought to you by Yankee Candle.
I would never buy a dick cheese scented candle.
I heard it's their best seller.
Yeah, Richie buys it.
All right, so that about wraps it up on the horror news. I know really not a whole lot going on. There were talks about the next Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie and how it's going to be like another reboot of the series, but I think
that's just awful.
I think that horse has been beaten to death, so I don't even want to talk about it.
Yeah, stop rebooting series. Jesus Christ. I mean, you know, do we really need to see, you know, 4 different versions of, you know, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? No, we don't.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I think it's exactly what it would have been. I think it would have been like the 4th timeline in that franchise.
Yeah, they do these movies just to retain the rights, and then when it comes down to releasing them, they're just like, we don't want to put any more money in that pile of shit. Why the hell would we do that? And then they lose the rights, and that's exactly what happened with Leatherface. You know, they lost the rights to the movie, and now whoever picks them up is going to be forced to, you know, flush away whatever came before it and start another timeline. And as if that's not a clusterfuck enough.
Yeah, well, that last Texas movie was awful. It was so fucking stupid, dude. God, I don't even know like how that possibly got like whoever wrote that script and handed it to someone. It's like, oh yeah, let's make this into a movie. This is like a good Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. No, it's not. It's awful. It's awful shit. And you know what? If they're going to remake this movie again and reboot it again, you know what you do? You know what you do to make fans happy? Because right now, Texas Chainsaw Massacre fans, they're not happy. You want to make them happy? Obviously, you have to reboot it again. I get that. If you're going to reboot it again, do a nearly frame-for-frame shot remake of the original movie. Go the Tom Savini Night of the Living Dead route. Don't fucking change characters. Don't add characters. Fucking keep the exact same characters. Maybe change them and tweak them a little bit. And just do the same exact fucking movie. Just update it. Make it look nicer. That's it.
I think they were successful with the remake, even though they took some reservations. Adam Marcus and Deborah Sullivan's Texas Chainsaw 3D was pretty interesting with the way they started the movie, like a direct sequel. I thought they did some interesting stuff with that movie. But everything that came after, it was a goddamn mess. And like for me personally, what I would do is maybe lean a little more into the Ed Gein backstory. You know what I mean? Like Leatherface was inspired by the mass, well, not a mass killer, but the serial killer Ed Gein. Why don't you like pull a little more from his actual crimes and ground it more in reality instead of like this crazy redneck out in the middle of nowhere Texas Chainsaw Massacre type movie? Like put it somewhere else. Do something interesting with it. Stop trying to tie it to everything that came before it, because there's no fixing the timeline that it's currently a part of. So do something different as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to keep it in Texas, because it wouldn't be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre if it took place in New Mexico.
Oh,
or
for
if it
sure.
took place in Arkansas or some shit like that. You have to change it to either Chainsaw Massacre, or you'd have to put the name of the state in there somewhere. I'd rather they just left it where the hell it is. They've beaten that horse to death so many goddamn times. It's not even really worth watching any other ones other than the 1974 one. And even then, I didn't like that movie all that much either. It's just
Yeah, honestly, anytime.
I can say that about all the remakes, though. I mean, did we really need an Evil Dead remake a couple years ago? Seriously, did we really need that? Yeah, and the Friday the 13th stuff, and now Halloween's being rebooted for the third or fourth fucking time too.
That's not a reboot. It's actually a direct sequel to the 1978 film.
Oh, I thought it was the Danny McBride one?
Yeah, they're going to ignore everything after the credits rolled on part 1, and it's going to be a direct sequel.
Oh, okay.
That's what Texas Chainsaw 3D tried to do. They basically continued where the 74 Texas Chainsaw Massacre ended, and then did like a time jump, which was pretty interesting. But as far as the locations go in Texas, like, I mean, the entirety of Texas isn't just like backwoods, desert and stuff like that. I mean, they could
exactly.
They could
have the guy kill people on the streets of Dallas or some shit. Have him walk around in Dallas Stars gear. I mean, shit, the sky's the guy.
I like it. Maybe they could film it in Canada so they could keep the tradition going. Matt will appreciate that one.
Yeah, I get it. I don't. It's because think about it. You had the original movies, right? And then I don't know where Texas Chainsaw Massacre 4 fits in the original timeline, the Next Generation. I don't know if that's actually part of the first 3 movies or not. It really doesn't seem like it is. It kind of seems like it's its own standalone movie.
Yeah, like all the sequels to like The Howling or some shit. None of them stick together. I mean, they all bounce around to all sorts of goofy stuff. It's just awful.
Maybe they should do that though. Like, if they had self-contained stories and just made the individual movie for what it is without having to rely on so much bullshit that came before it, maybe it'd be interesting like that. Like, so you hear about these serial killers that have, they have 30-year career criminals, and they're tied together by one strand. The fact that they were the one responsible for it. Like, stop trying to make the stories overly convoluted and just give us another chapter in the Leatherface legacy.
Yeah, I mean, keep it simple. Go back to basics.
Yeah, I think that would be the best course of action, and fans are getting fucking tired of it. They don't care how it's connected to the Sawyers or bringing back the characters from the original and stuff like that. They just want what latched them onto the original to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. Give them fresh meat. Feed the beast. Give it fresh meat. Don't give it stale bad meat. Nobody wants that.
Yeah, I mean, they're always going back to the Sawyers and shit. But as I said, I don't know where the new generation fucking fits in and all that.
Yeah, but like from that movie on, you could pretty much say that about most of the movies that came after it. Honestly, you can't say the only one that I could say that will be the difference in it is Texas Chainsaw 3D. They tried to attach it directly to the original.
Yeah, the fucking the next generation. I keep saying new generation. It's the next generation because it's obviously Leatherface is not like Leatherface as we've ever seen him in the previous 3 movies. And then the family is completely different. You have Matthew McConaughey and the most ridiculous fucking role he's ever been in. I mean, I don't even know where you go with. That's why I'm thinking that movie was a standalone movie. It does not follow the first 3. Then obviously you have the remake, which I actually enjoyed. I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah, me too. I really enjoyed it.
And then there was the prequel to the remake, Texas Chainsaw.
Everybody hates that movie, but I didn't think it was that bad.
I thought it was okay. It was kind of interesting. Then there was another sort of remake after that, or was that?
I think that was Texas Chainsaw 3D that came next, and it was a pseudo sequel to the original that had, if I remember it correctly, it had a time jump later on, and then it was kind of remake-y territory where a group of kids were going out through Texas to go see a show or something, and blah blah blah.
Okay, so I'm just trying to see here. So the beginning came out in 2006, and then there was Texas Chainsaw 3D, but that was in 2013. I can't believe there was a 7-year gap.
Missing one? Oh yeah, no, there was a gap.
Interesting. And then obviously the latest one, Leatherface. Again, I don't know where the fuck that's supposed to fit in. I think it's actually supposed to be some type of weird prequel to the original, but it just doesn't.
It's like a prequel to the prequel, the beginning.
Really?
Yeah, like the beginning was a prequel to the original, and Leatherface is basically him as a kid, if I recall.
No, the beginning was a prequel to the remake.
Oh yeah, what the
Man, this shit's ridiculous. That's all you need to know. This shit's confusing.
Like, how could they have made this so convoluted? It's like a dude that wears people's skin and he runs around with a chainsaw. Like, how difficult does this have to be?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, did they go back in time or some shit? I mean, is there some other nefarious forces at play here? What the hell?
You know, honestly, if they did go back in time, I think it might be easier to understand. I think it's kind of ridiculous. I'm on Wikipedia right now about Leatherface, and I just saw something that I might have known, but I probably forgot. But the same two that did Inside, that French slasher movie, they directed Leatherface. I don't remember knowing that. I'm hearing bad things, but Jesus, if you made that movie Inside, I think I'll give it a fair shot.
You're gonna regret it, man. You are so gonna fucking regret it.
Probably, but I owe it to him for giving me that French movie.
Listen, after obviously I like the original movie, I like the remake. I do like Part 2, and 3D wasn't awesome, but it definitely wasn't the worst. I mean, it was way better than Leatherface, Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 3. It was definitely better than, I enjoyed it more than the beginning. I enjoyed it more than Leatherface, and I did enjoy it more than the Next Generation. But the Next Generation did have one of my all-time favorite scenes in a horror movie ever, just because it's so fucking stupid. Matthew McConaughey all of a sudden somehow teleports to the roof of the house, and he yells and then jumps onto the car that Renee Zellweger is driving to get away, and he just goes "Pew!" and he just jumps onto the car. It's the most retarded scene.
That's the thing he likes about roofs. They stay in the same place. He jumps around. Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
Yeah, that's batshit crazy. I mean, just the fact that you said McConaughey and Zellweger in the same sentence as Texas Chainsaw Massacre like blows my mind. Then add in what the scene is.
Yeah, fucking. I just posted a link. Somebody actually just uploaded the scene. It's a 50-second YouTube video. I'm gonna play it real quick just because.
Yeah, put it on, play it for us.
You don't even have to see the clip. You just have to listen to it, and all it is just McConaughey making the most ridiculous fucking noises. So
doesn't he do that anyway? Normally, that's like kind of how he acts.
Yeah, well, more so in this particular scene, and then
that's why I guess he acts a little more Texas retarded than the rest of the time.
Apparently,
but just listen. It's 50 seconds, and it's just all McConaughey making weird noises, and they loop the one part over and over again just because it's so fucking funny. Just that noise, and they looped over that noise like 5-6 times. It's just the funniest thing. I don't know why, but anytime I'm feeling sad, I just watch that clip, and I just hear that pew noise. Like,
all I'm gonna say is, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, and then you got the tranny Leatherface that's like in straight up drag the entire movie. It was a weird movie.
The producers and writers and director, they also think that drug is hell of a.
Yeah.
And like, we have to fight to get sequels to like Behind the Mask, Rise of Leslie Vernon, or Hatchet, but Leatherface: The Next Generation exists. Like, how does that happen?
Yeah, I really don't know. It's bad. But it's one of those bad movies that I can sit down and happily watch. I enjoy watching it despite how bad it is. It's not a bad movie like Buzzard Hollow Beef, where I want to kill myself. It's a bad movie where I'm like, oh, this movie is so much fun to watch because it's so bad.
Yeah, it's so bad.
I was gonna bring that up.
Yeah, it's just, the performances aren't that good. The effects are pretty lousy, but for some reason it just melts together into something funny.
Oh, it really does. It's one of the best bad movies in my opinion, especially in a horror franchise. It's not like obviously you got really bad movies like Freddy's Dead. Freddy's Dead is an awful fucking movie. I don't care what anybody says. It is still fun to watch. I actually enjoy it more than like Dream Child.
Because by that point the whole franchise had gotten ridiculous. Now Freddy's trying to kill the unborn and shit like that. What the fuck? That's just stupid, man. It just took me right out of it.
Yeah, well, also Freddy's Dead had Roseanne Barr and Tom Arnold in it, and that's a win in my book.
You know what? I look past all of the nonsense in Freddy's Dead because it gave us a glimpse of the Springwood Slasher, which is a movie that I kind of wanted for the longest time, and hell, even Robert Englund wanted to do for the longest time. The pre-burnt Freddy, version of himself. I've always wanted to see that. So, Freddy's Dead offered a glimpse into what that could have been. So I forgive it.
Yeah, I mean, it had flashes of greatness here and there, but then you get like scenes like the video game scene and the
riding on the broom with a witch hat.
Oh God, what were they thinking?
It's just stuff that makes the entire movie overall fall down. But there's still parts of it that are enjoyable.
Yeah,
I think that could be said to about any of the Freddy Krueger movies over the years.
Yeah, but let's put it this. The first one was really good. Then after that, it really starts getting, because they basically turned him into a killer comedian, with the one-liners and shit like that. It got ridiculous in my eyes. It just got, it got too ridiculous.
Well, part 2 is pretty dark still. He really did.
2, I think he was the most evil.
Oh yeah, definitely. 2 is one of my favorites. I like 2 more. I like, in my opinion, it's probably part 1, New Nightmare, and then part 2 for me.
I like A New Nightmare a lot, but I think 2 is a little bit better than it. There's parts of A New Nightmare that like drag a little bit, but for the most part, it's probably the most unique sequel of them all.
Yeah, I loved it.
Isn't it crazy that Wes Craven has given us so much? Like, people like to dog his movies, but he created like franchise after franchise and inspired generations with his work.
Yeah, he did some good stuff, man. It's a shame that we're never gonna get anything else from him, but you know, we got quite a legacy from him. All right, so before we get into the slight interactive part, not that there's anybody in chat tonight. Usually we do have a couple people in chat, but tonight is pretty bare. What were your?
It was nice though to like just kind of, bounce off the ropes a little bit without any restraints.
Yeah, no, it was kind of cool, just bullshitting like any normal day of us just hanging out and drinking. So what were your thoughts on Star Wars now that you actually finally seen it?
It was impressive. I have not took a dive into why all the fans are whining, but I have, I've got my predictions about that. But to me, I think The Last Jedi was probably one of the best sequels that they've ever made, simply because it took and broke away from the traditional Star Wars mold. It didn't try to be any of the previous sequels. It didn't try to kind of like run parallel with any of them or pull inspiration too much from the past, but instead kind of like break through, I guess the Death Star restraints that it had, kind of, and forge its own path. It really decides to like sidestep the path that the older movies took and become something of its own, and I think that's really exciting going forward.
Yeah, I enjoyed the movie so much, and I knew as soon as the movie ended that there was just going to be a lot of angry fans, but I thought there would actually be more happy fans, that it didn't feel like any Star Wars movie before it.
And it was dark. It was like, it had a lot of darkness to it, which I really enjoyed. Having such a bleak outlook, basically shadowing the entire movie. It was definitely a sidestep from what I expected from the where things would go from the first. And I think you said in your review that nothing is predictable. Like, just when you think you have the movie figured out of where things are going to go, it basically does a sharp turn and goes in an entirely different direction. Anything that you spent the last few years trying to come up with theories on and stuff like that, they all basically were slapped completely out of your hand for either more interesting paths or less interesting paths, which made the characters grow even more so. Like, one thing in particular, and I'm not going to spoil it, is Rey's parents. Her lineage and where she came from. There was such a huge emphasis on who they were and how they are tied to her and stuff like that, to the point where it almost became less about who she is and where she came from, but what's the big reveal going to be? And they reveal it. And it's interesting to me. It's very, very interesting that they decided to take that path, and with the way things went with it, to me, it's able to shine the spotlight back on her, who's the most important character. One of the most important characters on the in the movie.
Yeah, it was 'cause everybody had their theories. Oh, she's so and so's daughter. Oh, she's is so and so's daughter, and it's like, yeah, no, she's not. You're wrong. How you feel about that?
It was really interesting. I mean, I still have my suspicions on one of my own theories that they might slap us with in episode 9, but I'm very content with what they decided upon, and you could pretty much see a lot of that all throughout the movie. Like the characters are not only are they interesting, but they have went interesting ways since the first movie. The rehearsed for first movie kind of almost went beat for beat A New Hope. Like it was very, very, very similar to that original Episode 4. This movie, it basically took these characters from where they were and just like grew them immensely and changed the way that you had expected them to go. And I think that that shows good storytelling as far as I'm concerned.
What did you think of Rose?
Rose, like I don't have any problems with her. I think she was a pretty interesting character. I was actually going to ask you how she won you over so much that like the way she did.
Well, when we first meet her, she was just kind of a she came off as a very awkward throwaway type character. She came off like a bit comedic, but that's just because of the interaction she was having with Finn at the time. And she kind of felt like a one-note character just because of how that particular scene was written. But the way she progressed and grew as the movie went on was just better than any characters before her. And she
did a lot with a little time, as far as I'm concerned. Like at the very beginning, you see her. If you were to look at the skeleton of what her character is, you would think that she's a bridge, like a means to an end. She's a bridge to get one character into another story arc, and you're just like, okay, that's her purpose. But by the end of it, she's a very rich and interesting character. As the way I saw it, at least.
She had purpose, and her purpose was to keep things on track, but also to keep things light. She was a multi-purpose character. Like, I don't want to dive into some of the scenes because Tom hasn't seen it, so I don't want to spoil anything. But
by the end, though, she also grounds a thought pattern. This is not spoiling, but like a way of thinking into a way of reality. Like she wakes up certain characters.
Yeah, that's one of the scenes I wanted to talk about, but there was also that was one of her purposes. Then she had that other purpose to keep things light and adorable and fucking
yeah, she's very, very likable. That's I'll definitely say that. Very relatable too.
I'm trying to think of the word. It's like light, adorable, just very innocent.
Affable?
No.
Good.
Innocent. And it was the one scene when she was just so enamored by the those racing animals. You know what scene I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how just enamored and how amazed she was by them. It just displayed her innocence, and that's not something we have gotten in a character in a Star Wars movie in a very long time. I mean, maybe since before Anakin in Episode 1.
We got a little bit of that with Rey in Episode 7. The scene where she's sitting outside the Star Destroyer that's crashed, eating lunch, and she has that the helmet on and stuff like that, pretending like living in her imagination of what that war might have looked like. She had a little bit of that innocence, but it was quickly swept up in the progression of the movie.
Yeah, definitely.
I kind of wish Rey had a little more of what Rose has, to be honest. But I'm glad that Rose has it because it also kind of reflects on who we are. In our perspective, from our perspective. We would never be a general. We would never be the light side or dark side Jedi or anything. We would be the spectator. The people that dream of these far off galaxies. And she got to take part in one and experience it as it happened. So she had this almost glee-like vibe to her, I guess.
Yeah, I could get on board with that. But I don't know. It's just the character of Rose, the way she grew throughout the entire movie was just captivating for me, and I'm looking forward to see what they do with her in episode 9. Hopefully she's coming back. So,
yeah, I would imagine so. What were your favorite aspects entirely?
Just how fucking out of left field everything in that movie was. Like, as soon as you get through the first act, as I said in my review, the second and third act is nothing but just an emotional fucking roller coaster. It's just, they're throwing feels at you every 10 minutes.
Yeah, and a lot of unexpected curveballs. I think that was one of the film's strong points for me, where you're watching a scene and over years you become a little jaded over watching movies. You kind of know where where the puck's gonna go. You know what I mean? So you're watching it and you have a general idea of what's to come, and then you get punched straight in the balls when you realize that where it was gonna go wasn't quite where you expected it to be.
Yeah, I can see that. What were your thoughts on the porgs?
I love them. I'm probably one in the minority, but they didn't overstay their welcome. They were sprinkled throughout the movie, and any animal like that, whether it's the crystal foxes things or the porgs or the things that Rose was enamored with. I wish I knew the names of these creatures, but they all serve a purpose in growing the world, in world building. And I think seeing more and more of what that universe has to offer makes the reality of it seem a little more believable. You could suspend disbelief so much, but when you feel like you're being taken to another world in the way that we were as children, for a film to do that to 20-somethings or 30-somethings now, in the age we live in, it's a rare thing, and I think they helped, the porgs helped bring that to life.
Yeah, no, they were cute, and definitely had some cute little light scenes, funny scenes that broke up the movie a bit, and I enjoyed them. I know a lot of people had an issue with them, but it's fucking grow a soul.
The minute we saw a picture of a porg, I knew that it would just have the Ewok level backlash or Jar Jar Binks like backlash, but just be glad,
You know what, though? The Ewoks served the purpose, okay? Because in the Jedi, in Return of the Jedi, basically they track Luke down to Endor, and they have to defend. The Ewoks have to defend their territory. All right, so I mean, as much as people malign and dislike the Ewoks, myself included, I found them to be a little bit too cutesy in that movie. They served a necessary purpose. Jar Jar Binks, on the other hand, was an animatronic piece of garbage that I wouldn't even wipe my ass with. I'll be honest with you.
My brother revisited the original ones before Episode 7. Well, the prequels, and he's like, entire Episode 1, most of the shit wouldn't have happened had it not been for Jar Jar Binks fucking everything up along the way.
Yeah, pretty much.
Leave him and just let him, strap him into a seat and give him a video game or something to play with, and none of that shit would have happened.
Better yet, do what you do with a frog. All right, you take a pin, you stick it into his brain, and the frog goes limp. That's what they should have done to Jar Jar Binks. They should have just stuck a big fucking pin in his goddamn head and let him go limp.
I was talking patronize him a little bit, but if we could do it your way too.
Oh no, I didn't want to hear shit. I didn't want to hear shit from that. And that's why this. I remember going to see that with Rich. I almost walked out of the fucking movie. If I didn't wait in line for so goddamn long, I would have walked out. I just said, "What the fuck is this shit? I'm not watching this."
I was at that weird. I don't remember what year it came out, so I can't tell you how old I was, but I know that I still had that kind of magic in me for the Star Wars series. You know, like the fact that these movies came out before, you know, like I was like old enough to watch. I didn't watch them when they first came out, but
Yeah.
the fact that we were getting new ones was amazing to me. So like I was buying the toys, I was, you know, like just everything, full on fan mode. So my first theatrical experience of it, like, was nothing like revisiting it later on, because it was just, oh my god, another Star Wars movie, and you know, like that guy is gonna be Darth Vader one day. So like I was caught up in it until years later when I watched it again, and I was like, oh man, why are they talking about trade routes and Senate, and my god, this is a kids movie? What the fuck?
Well, no, it wasn't even the fact it was well, technically, it wasn't even a kids movie. I mean, you know, let's put it this: if you were to bring a 10-year-old kid in that movie, he'd be bored to fucking tears. All right.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
I mean, you know, yeah, but I mean, you know, it's more like, you know, wait a minute, I didn't come here to talk, you know, to see Yoda talk about, redistricting, you know, all sorts of trade routes and shit like that, and you know, tiny little Anakin Skywalker, you know, with his big stupid fucking Jar Jar Binks fucking thing, you know. Misa, so sorry. Yeah, Misa, so sorry you're in this fucking movie. How's about that? Do the world a favor. Get behind the booster of a speeder and just keep your face there till it melts.
Yeah, just you know, one of those pod racers or whatever they are.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it was. The pod racers. That's what it was.
And Jar Jar's too like stupid enough to walk behind one of those things. They should have just let him do that. I think they'd have a lot less problems.
I was praying that it would be like one of like the Coyote cartoons, you know, where he's chasing the Roadrunner around, and he falls off the cliff, and you never, you know, except this time there's more realistic physics involved, and you never hear from Jar Jar again because his body is broken and bruised at the bottom of a pit of spikes. Yeah.
Is it wrong that I want to watch that series, like where Jar Jar Binks basically is the Coyote? Like I want to watch that Saturday morning cartoon now, but he dies violently every episode.
Oh, I would watch that. I would DVR that shit, man. I would buy a DVR just to keep that shit out, just to keep that shit around the house. Yeah, that way, whenever I'm depressed and life's gotten me down or something like that, I can watch Jar Jar Binks, you know, be blasted into the heart of the sun or some shit like that, man. That would be hilarious.
Somebody, if you're listening and you have connects with Disney, give us a meeting. We're gonna pitch this. You know, like nobody likes Jar Jar. I bet you Disney doesn't either. So let's kill him in a Saturday morning cartoon.
You know, let's at least get some entertainment out of quite possibly the most annoying character other than Hayden Christensen in that entire fucking series.
Well then.
Yeah, so that's like a little taste of some of the tangents we're gonna go off on when we're all together.
Man, I hope not.
Oh man, that's where the entertainment's gonna start.
All right, so well, I'm glad you finally saw the movie, and I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it again. I always see, you know, movies like this like at least twice, because the first one is that sort of anxiety viewing of it, where you're just like, you have all these expectations, all these theories and thoughts of where everything's going to go. So like you experience everything, and it happens at a very rapid pace. My second viewing, which I'm going to see on Friday, you know, I look forward to just like chilling out and taking all of it in, you know, like really, really experiencing the movie. So I'm sure I'm going to take away quite a bit of it from that screening.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I would like to go see it one more time. The thing is, it's just that it is a long movie, and you feel it. You feel all 2.5 hours of that movie.
But the good thing is it's not a bad feeling. You know, it's kind of a wonderful feeling, as we said earlier.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
know, like going through this story, you know, it was just a journey that I was happy to take. I wasn't looking at the clock. I wasn't, you know, antsy to watch something else. I was very, very much invested in where these characters were going and how they were getting there.
Yeah, it's definitely a great movie, and a lot of the people who are hating on it are just fans who are just never going to be happy with whatever they get.
Oh, there's the door. That's the way I say it.
Yeah, pretty much. So that is definitely going to wrap it up for our normal parts of the show. I mean, there isn't a whole lot going on in the chat, but we can kind of talk about our holidays and how that went for everybody.
You sound very very depressed about getting into this segment.
No, I was actually just reading something. I mean, my holiday was my Christmas Eve was pretty good because we did Christmas. We always do Christmas Eve at my house, well, my parents' house.
Yeah, same deal here, man. We do Christmas Eve. We don't, we really don't do Christmas Day itself. We just do Christmas Eve.
I never understood that. We never did Christmas Eve. Christmas Day was always the more important one in our house.
For an Italian, Christmas Eve is actually a bit more important. Why, I don't know, but we make all kinds of fish, and I like the fish. So that's definitely my day. I'm just feasting on fish all day.
I had shrimp once, and
bad things happened. Yes,
bad things happened.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had lasagna, for Christmas Eve dinner. But this is the thing, okay? When my mom does make lasagna, she only does it like for that day out of the year. So it's like, if you're not there, fuck you. You get no lasagna. All right.
Oh, it's something to look forward to then too.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, Plus, I knew what I was going to get. I asked for a new stereo system. I ended up getting, I got a Bose stereo, which I'm very, very happy with.
Nice.
Right on.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the sound quality on it's fucking amazing. And this isn't a shill out for Bose or anything like that, or but this is more a reflection on Sony, because the one that I had since I moved into the condo a year and a half ago was a Sony, and it was like a 25-year-old machine to begin with when it came here. But the fact that it lasted another year and a half is just a testament to the quality that Sony, the electronic division of it at least, puts out on a regular basis. But I gotta tell you, the Bose system, it kicks everything's ass, man. You haven't heard Back in Black by AC/DC, the whole album, all right? Not just the song, not just You Shook Me All Night Long, none of that. All right, listen to the whole goddamn thing on the Bose. It's just amazing because you hear stuff you never heard before, different tones and all sorts of stuff. It's just that good.
Yeah, Bose has a great sound. By my from my experience, I used to buy some of the over the ear headphones. I had a few of those, the earbuds. Even for just the headsets, they have an amazing sound, better than you would expect. So I can imagine the stereo itself is great.
Oh yeah, no, it is fantastic, man. Plus it's a small unit. It's easy to it's easy to take with you if you want to go somewhere with it. I mean, it's just easy to lug around. It's almost perfect. I mean, that's the only way I can describe it in my eyes. It's almost perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, Bose does not. They're one of the best. I mean, if you're getting headphones for anything, Bose is usually the way to go. I would stay away from Beats and all that shit. The only other brand, in fact, it's the next headset I'm going to buy for my computer, Sennheiser.
Yeah, that's what I got right now. That brand, I swear by. Sony, like Tom was saying before, it's pretty good, but Bose rocks,
Yeah, without a doubt there. So we were home for Christmas Eve. Had just immediate family and some of my sister's friends. They came over and we feasted on fish, and I had a very delicious chocolate beer. That was really, really good, surprisingly good.
Nice.
And then Christmas was okay. We went to my sister's house, but the problem with that is that she invited like 20 people, and her house is really, really, really small. She doesn't have like a formal.
Yeah, so it's like bumping into people left and right, pretty much.
Dude, it was miserable.
Kind of reminds me of when we helped her move, when we had like 20 people in her small apartment. Oh, actually, it was a small house.
Yes, in the one she was moving to, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But that also didn't help that it was 125 degrees out that day.
Oh my god, I'm still having nightmares about that day.
Don't feel bad, because I had to move her again a year later, and it was almost equally as hot that day too.
Yeah, I think I don't even think you asked me to help in that day.
I wasn't.
You were just like, I'm not putting you through that again.
I felt so bad the first time, but I mean, it's like you did get paid, so you did make some money.
Oh yeah, it helped. It definitely helped. You know, like I would have done it. You know, had I not gotten paid, but the fact that the con was right around the corner, I was like, well, if you're gonna offer it, I'll gladly buy some shit that I don't need with the money.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, so we moved her twice, and it was a blazing both days, and then when I had to move into my house, obviously nobody was fucking around to help me, so me and Tal pretty much moved everything into the house ourselves.
I'm done moving stuff. After I moved from my last house, we hired movers, and it was glorious. Totally worth the money. You know, just stand in the empty house while people move shit for you.
Yeah, I guess it was a good feeling, you know, because I experienced the same thing when I moved to the condo. You know, I call it the apartment, apartment condo. Same difference to me. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's nice having people, move all the stuff around for you. You don't have to break your back and do any heavy lugging, any heavy lifting, or anything like that.
It doesn't help that our furniture weighs like metric ton. Well, I mean, some of it does. So we just recently gotten rid of a bedroom set that was absurdly heavy, and thankfully on the next. What's up?
Yeah, like abnormally heavy.
Yeah, it was god awful. I told people that if we move, we're leaving it in the house. I don't want to bring it anywhere. But unfortunately, I had to move it to the dump recently, and glad it's gone.
Yeah, it sounds like a burden.
Yeah, well, I'll be moving again in another 2 months or so. So
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, so we'll see. They keep saying February still. They actually did some work though in the last week, like noticeable work. So
you gotta give us another video update soon.
I have one. I screwed it up, but I have to just render it again and I'll upload it. But since that I recorded that second video, they've done a ton more work actually.
That's awesome. Yeah, I watched your last video and it was pretty impressive.
Yeah, I saw the first one where they basically had all the frame up. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually popped that up and I was like, oh, this is probably a quick little video, and I saw it was like 21 minutes or something like that, and I'm like, fuck this, I'm not watching this. And then I put it on and I was like, oh, okay, this is interesting, it's fine.
Yeah.
But you didn't you came very close to making me motion sickness with your spinning around and shit.
In the very beginning, I was spinning around a lot. In the second video, it's only about 6 or 7 minutes long. And I actually have my camera on a stand, so it's a bit more stable, and I am not spinning nearly as much. I learned my lesson after that first video.
All right, good. I'm putting the Dramamine away.
So Christmas was pretty freaking miserable. In terms of what I got this year, I mean, I never asked for anything because I really never need anything, but I got a couple bottles of scotch, which is like the only thing I ever ask for anymore. And I got a nice new camera bag, something bigger than the little red and black one I had, so I can fit more of my equipment in it without an issue.
Yeah, that's gonna go to good use.
Yes, I really needed one because the new microphone is like 10 times the size of the old one. And it just was not fitting in my current case, so this is working pretty good. And I actually might be able to use that old case to put my little mini mixing board in it.
Sweet, it's definitely come to good use.
Yeah, I mean, if we decide to do any like hotel room recordings during a convention, I can bring the mixing board and tap it into the camera so we can do some recordings.
Yeah, and Lord knows we have enough planned between this channel and the and Dead Entertainment. I think we're going to have our work cut out for us.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So yeah, that's about the. I mean, I got some other stuff too, but those are the notable things. I'm looking forward to trying the one bottle of scotch I got. It was a double cask Macallan 12 year. So
Cool.
So that should be pretty good.
Right on. Yeah, I'll have to try it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a scotch guy, but you know, so far the best scotch that I've tried was with you. So, you know, I got to taste this a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, same thing with me. I'm not much of a Scotch. You know, I'm not. You know, I mean, I like my whiskey, but I'm not exactly huge on Scotch. I mean, I'll drink Dewar's every now and again, but that's probably according to Matt, that's probably like swill. It's like the bottom of the barrel. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what though? It's good. It's good and cheap, and it gets me drunk, so it serves its purpose.
Yeah, without a doubt.
What did you end up getting, Ray?
I think the biggest tickets item that I got most from my brother. My brother, like, basically a lot of the stuff that I have from my computer are hand-me-downs from him. Either I buy it or he gives it to me. And one thing that he always complains about if he has to come down here and do something on the computer or whatever, because he's a little more versed on the hardware, and if I've had a few problems with my computer recently. So the first thing that he does is complain about his old keyboard and how it's shit, and how my current Logitech mouse is garbage. So he went ahead and bought me a gaming mouse and gaming keyboard. Logitech Orion Spark mechanical gaming keyboard, which he's been using for the past year. So I'm looking forward to diving into that. And,
what model number?
Setting it up. It's G910.
Oh yeah, that's what I have. That's their top of the line.
Oh yeah, yeah. He got me that one, and it's. I mean, the lit up keyboard alone is exciting, and the fact that it's gonna have these like solid push to the keys. It's gonna make my gaming on the computer a lot better. For the mouse, he got me a G502 Proteus Spectrum, which basically looks like Zack Snyder's Batmobile.
Yeah, you have a G502. That's exactly what I have as well.
Nice. You and my brother form Voltron or some shit.
Yeah, they're both the Logitech's top of the line wired devices.
Oh yeah, they're. I was kind of blown away by it. I had a feeling I was going to get a mouse because my mouse's battery, the rechargeable battery, started to take a shit, and I was like, all right, you gotta help me find the battery, find me one that's good and I'll buy it. And my brother's like, oh no, you can live with just a temporary battery. And I was like, no, I want to fix my mouse. I don't want it erasing my keybinds and all this other shit again. It's annoying. And he's like, no, just wait a little bit. I was like, if you don't fucking tell me, I'm going to find it myself. And he's like, you're being like your father, right? And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, he's so antsy to buy something without realizing that he might get it for Christmas. Now shut up and fucking wait. So, lo and behold, I got a gaming mouse that I'm very excited to plug in. I haven't tinkered with it yet because I had to raid on my game last night, but it's happening this weekend.
Nice.
Beyond that, I got some clothes, got some, bed sheets, and couple gift cards, pretty much the basic fare. Some Legos, some Marvel Legos. I'm a big Lego guy, and I can't complain. We had a very low key weekend. Started out with Saturday with my cousin coming in from Texas and spending the night with us, and basically that was just me, my brother, and my cousin just hanging out, drinking, and playing old school NES. You know, you can't really ask for better. And on top of that, we beat Bigfoot finally after like 30 years. We finally beat Bigfoot. Sunday, Christmas Eve, we don't really do a lot, so we basically just kind of hung around. You know, played a little bit of games. You know, just kept it low key. Christmas is a day, you know, with family, so I had a lot of my aunts and uncles and everybody stopping by. The kids coming by, like tornadoing through their gifts and wanting to open everything on our living room floor. But once everything settled down on Christmas, you know, like we hung out, watched some movies, and you know, it was nice.
Yeah, it sounds like a good time.
Yeah, that's pretty much what I did all weekend because I got picked up directly from work. So, you know, you imagine, 2 o'clock in the afternoon going down to Monroe Township, which is in central Jersey. It's equidistant from New York and Philadelphia. Or at least that's the bullshit my mom tells me. Yeah. Well, let's put it this. It's in an area where you got both the New York news and the Philadelphia news channels. Yeah.
Best of all worlds.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you're into the doings of Philadelphia, then yeah, it is pretty sweet. But I was there for about 3 days. I got back here about 1 o'clock on Monday. Oh, and this is the funny thing about me going out. All right, because Friday morning I decided to turn off the TV in the living room, which also has the cable box and the Wi-Fi, and the Wi-Fi connection and all that type of shit. And apparently, if I don't have a Wi-Fi connection, apparently the whole building doesn't have a fucking Wi-Fi connection. So I turn it off I turn it off before I leave the house on Friday morning, and I come back and there's a note posted on my door. Where's my Wi-Fi? So I put on every door, buy your own fucking Wi-Fi. I am not the only one who has Wi-Fi in this fucking building. Yeah.
You know, man, we should come over there and password protect your Wi-Fi just to screw everybody over.
I think I don't know what the hell's going on with it, man. I thought it was
put a password on it. Fuck you, pay me.
I thought it was password protected. I mean, I'll be honest with you. It's like nobody really uses it in the building anyway. But so I don't really, I don't lose a lot of lag or speed or anything like that. It's just that if I'm not going to be here for a couple of days, why the hell am I going to run up the electric bill by keeping this stuff on? Even though technically it doesn't really, generate all that much juice. Still, it's for my own peace of mind.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yep.
Yeah, so I got these people in the building I don't even fucking know mad at me for because I turned the Wi-Fi off and apparently I killed their Christmas or whatever the fuck. I mean, honestly, I don't give a shit. Yeah.
You ruined Christmas, Tom.
I didn't listen. Okay. You know what? Then if I ruined Christmas, then I also ruined Christmas Eve. I ruined the day before that, and I ruined the day before that. So there's like 3 days ruined.
I think we should change your Twitter handle of Doom Machine to Tom Ruiner of Christmas or Ruiner World.
It only work once a year, man. You can't do that. Leave it as it is. DM77. Leave it as it is.
True.
Tom went full Grinch this year.
No. I didn't go full Grinch. I got my mom some very nice stuff. I got my mom a $200 gift card for Macy's. I got her the Doors collection because she lost all of her CDs. She lost all of her Doors CDs. All right, and that's like my mom's favorite band of all time. Yeah. So I ended up getting this thing off Amazon for I think it was like $35 or something like that. I mean it had all 6 albums in it. All 6 albums, paper, the little cardboard sleeves, but it had all 6 albums in it. So she was happy as hell about that.
Nice.
But something about I think I got I ended up getting her a cookbook for she was into this PBS show called Downton Abbey.
Oh yeah.
Trust me, it's something that none of us would ever even want to even think about or get into in any possible way. That's all I'm going to say about it. Yeah. But she was excited. She was excited about that. So everybody overall around my area at least had a good Christmas, except for the fucking Wi-Fi people, and they can go fuck themselves.
I love it.
Serves them right. What can I tell you?
right. Well, as I said, the chat was oddly enough pretty dead tonight. As I said, there's usually a couple people in it, but only our one regular showed up tonight, Chris, and he's actually been pretty quiet tonight. So I think we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping up. It is almost 10:30 already, so yeah.
So much for that early episode, huh?
Yeah, I gotta stop saying that. It just never works out.
Like even last week when we basically boasted at the end, well, this is probably our earliest episode yet. And it was, but it was like maybe 10-15 minutes shy of 2 hours.
Yeah. It still felt short.
Yeah, it did. It went a lot quicker.
So we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping up tonight. For shoutouts, it's the same shoutouts I give every week. Obviously shout out for Monster Mania. You guys are in the tri-state area, please check out Monster Mania. The convention is in March and August in New Jersey. It's just a really good time. And if you're in the tri-state area, I would definitely try to make it out. If not for the whole weekend, but at least for a day.
The same place as always, down in Cherry Hill?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just want to make sure.
We have been talking about possibly doing the Maryland one in September since I can't make August. But I'm not 100% sure on that yet. So let's see what else. Our friends over at Fright Rags, gonna go ahead and give them a shout out if you guys need any horror apparel, horror t-shirts, horror hoodies, enamel pins, horror socks. Check out Fright Rags. They have some of the best stuff you can possibly buy. Our buddies over at Gray Matter Art, obviously I did the vendor spotlight on them not too long ago. That, if you need some high quality posters and some beautiful licensed shit, they're definitely the guys to go to. Fuck Mondo. Mondo's impossible to get. These guys put out stuff that you can get, so check them out. Gray Matter Art. And then all my Twitter shout outs, the same people as always. Kim Fall, Horror Movie BBQ, Max Fishers at Jonathan Barkin, Freddy in Space, my buddy Mad Eye Yokai, and then my Swedish buddy who streams over on Twitch, Tardulv. It's TARDULV. I will be doing a live stream horror discussion with him pretty soon. We're going to be setting a date once the new year hits. So keep an eye out for that. That should be fun. As I said, he's over in Sweden. So it'll be cool to kind of talk to a foreign horror fan. I usually don't have any contact with fans like that. And that will do it for me. What do you got, Ray?
Good question. Let's see. I just want to shout out a fellow podcaster who's been very supportive of what we do on Way of Life and on Dead Entertainment. He has his own podcast called The Scream Stream. He basically has these short episodes where he reviews best and worst horror movies. He has a YouTube channel as well where he reviews, products and things like that. You could follow his podcast at Scream_Stream, or follow him personally at James Gass, with 2 S's. I listened to a couple of his episodes and I was pretty impressed. He has a good handle on it, very down to earth type of personality, and he's been supportive of Dead Entertainment right from the start. And I just wanted to put his name out there so you guys could check his stuff out too. Speaking of Dead Entertainment, I wanted to quickly congratulate the 2 winners of the contest, the giveaway. Majda Stampede won our Twitter giveaway, which was a Resident Evil Gold Edition. And John Mantell won the Fright Rags T-shirt, which if I if I was told correctly, both of the prizes were already ordered and sent off. So thank you to everybody who retweeted, followed us, liked us, checked out all of our stuff along the way. Just it was a great start, to the end of the year for our new horror website. So thank you for that support. It's, very much appreciated. And I had one other one that I wanted to shout out. Oh, the people that hang out weekly, every week for our podcast on Wednesday. The fact that you guys either jumped over from Matt's channel or from a different sort of source, and you stop by and check out the episode. Like, I look in the analytics on our YouTube pages, and it's awesome that you guys stick around for the full show. Like, one thing that you could find out is how long people listen for, generally how many viewers you get per episode. And, people stick around for the shows, which is pretty awesome to me. So, thanks for that support too. This is gonna be the last podcast for 2017. So we hope that you're excited for what we are ready to bring in 2018. Stick around. Tom?
I don't think Tom really has any shout-outs.
Yeah, no, I don't have any shout outs, I'll be honest with you, because I'm not really on social media all that much. I do I go on Twitter every now and again, but I don't really post all that much stuff up there because, quite honestly, there's really nothing, at least as far as from my aspect, that's to post. I mean, if I post anything, it would be like metal stuff, but we haven't got that off the ground. We haven't gotten that bird flying yet. So,
very soon.
Yeah, I mean, let's buy this. It's going to be coming soon, and when it comes, I want to have like a whole arsenal of stuff. I want to be able to just go deep into the war chest and just pull out, maybe stories from conventions that that I went to a while ago, and stupid shit like that. But as far as shout outs go, as far as like Matt talking about Fright Rags and the one guy on Twitch, and the guy he wants to do the simulcast with, and who's in Sweden right now, just to see maybe a different perspective on horror movies from their standpoint. I really have nothing as far as that goes. Other than a couple of new albums coming out next year that I'm very much looking forward to from a couple of bands, most notably Judas Priest. That I am definitely looking forward to that one. So other than that, I got nothing to say. As far as that goes. So anybody listening to this, considering this is basically the last podcast, at least as far as this one goes for the year, enjoy the rest of your 2017, and stick with us in 2018. It's basically all I can tell you. Thank the people for the support of the Way of Life Network.
Cool, man. Well, after we go off air, just hang around for a second, you two, because I got a bit of an update for some of the other content we can talk about real quick, but that's off air.
Not for you guys, the people that are listening. That's all us. Not for you, Higgins. That's Tom Selleck's food.
Yes, we have to brainstorm, Higgins.
So, guys, remember to jump on Twitter, follow us on Twitter at WayofLifeNet. That's our main Twitter handle for this channel, but then there's also our personal handles at Bates_MotelMT for me, at Ray Mungus for Ray, and at DoomMachine7784 for Tom. Make sure you go and check out deadentertainment.com. You can always find new content from myself, Mungus, and a couple of other contributors. Whether it's news pieces or original articles and editorials, we always have good stuff going on there. And I think that's about it. I'll have giveaway info for my next giveaway probably a week or two into the new year. And I was thinking maybe next week we take off Wednesday night, just to kind of recoup from the holidays, kind of give us a week. But I also have another reason behind that as well. So we'll talk that over. If we don't do an episode next week, it's just because we got a few other things going on, and as I said, we just kind of want to take a break before we dive into 2018. Also, there wasn't a whole lot of horror news this past week, and I don't expect there to be a whole lot going into next week, so we may not even have much to do episode-wise. But I'm not 100% on that yet. Me and Mungus have to talk that one out. All right, any final things?
Nothing really. Just if we don't do the episode next week, keep an eye on our Twitter for updates about that. We'll definitely let you know in advance if it's not going to happen, and what to expect. Going forward. We're obviously going to keep the podcast going. We're just going to take a break for a week, but all updates will be posted on our Twitter. So just keep an eye on it.
All right, guys, so one more time, I want to thank everybody, whoever came out tonight, whoever's listening after the fact. Thank you very much. I hope you guys had a good Christmas, good Hanukkah, good Kwanzaa, whatever you guys celebrate. Hope you had a good holiday. Enjoy your New Year. Do not get too drunk. Getting drunk on New Year is actually really miserable, so just get a little drunk. And stay safe, everybody. We will all see you in 2018. And, just like in 2017 and 2018, just remember, guys.
What do you think this is all about? You think this is a fucking costume? You think this is a way of life? This is a way of life.